In a kingdom far, far away, there were 3 beautiful sisters. Their father, who was the king, often held balls because his daughters loved to dance. But while each of the princesses danced very well, the youngest one could not dance as well as her older sisters.
You could be a little bit more graceful when you dance, Mia.
The little princess couldn't dance gracefully, even though she really wanted to. Even the guests around were looking at her strange dance and making fun of her among themselves.
What kind of dance is this?
Why is she moving like that?
I will never dance again.
Mia was so upset that she immediately left the ballroom and locked herself in a cabin deep in the forest. Looking at the stars in the sky, thinking how to dance well, she noticed a young man passing by the house. The man was dancing so gracefully and beautifully under the moonlight that Mia admired him and went outside. At that moment, when Mia suddenly screamed because of a squirrel that was rushing between her feet,
Ah! What was that?
the man stopped dancing and their eyes met.
Are you okay, ma'am?
Well, I'm fine. I think I was afraid of a squirrel.
This is their nature, ma'am. Please don't be scared.
Mia couldn't resist and asked the man how he danced so well. The man showed the shoes he was wearing.
I'm a shoemaker. I use precious materials and make magic dance shoes. That way, I can dance freely in the woods every night.
Oh, I can't believe it. I need a shoemaker just like you.
The shoemaker took out 3 pairs of magic shoes from his bag and placed them in front of Mia.
Close your eyes, make a wish, and choose one of these 3 magical shoes for your luck. But remember, every shoe has one big rule. If you don't follow that rule, the shoes can do whatever magic they want on you.
Mia immediately closed her eyes tightly. The shoemaker, on the other hand, swapped the shoes to leave it to chance which magic shoes Mia would pick.
Now you can choose a pair of shoes.
Oh, please let me be the most graceful dancing girl at the ball.
Mia selected the bright red shoes with her finger and opened her eyes.
Take them. These are yours now. But don't forget, you should wear the shoes only when you see the full moon. If you do otherwise, you cannot take off these magic shoes anymore. That's the rule.
Mia enthusiastically took the magic shoes and went to the palace. The princesses were very surprised to see their sister Mia so excited and happy.
Mia, where are you going that fast?
What is that in your hands?
Nothing.
Everyone gathered in the hall of the palace for another dance ball evening. Mia's princess sisters started to dance gracefully as usual in their most beautiful outfits. Little Princess Mia put on the magic shoes she got from the shoemaker and danced in the palace hall. She danced so beautifully, she kept up with the rhythm of the song so gently that the princess sisters and guests marveled at Mia.
Magnificent, so graceful.
Wow.
She is dancing so beautifully. Mia was dancing gracefully, but the shoemaker's rule slipped from her mind. Because there was no full moon in the sky that night, while Mia was dancing, she slowly started disappearing. Only her dancing magic shoes remained. At that moment, everyone in the hall started screaming in fear and running away.
Did you see that? Oh my gosh!
Mia! No! Oh, Mia disappeared!
Mia opened her eyes when everyone was screaming, but she couldn't understand what was going on. Standing in front of the largest mirror in the living room, she saw only the magic shoes she was wearing, not herself.
Whoa! I've become invisible! I did not follow the rule of the shoes. They stuck to my feet. Oh! I have to find that shoemaker.
No one could hear Mia's voice. In fact, everyone was leaving the palace in panic because of the red shoes running left and right in the hall. Mia immediately ran out of the hall. Princess sisters followed her. 3 princess sisters were walking through the forest in the dark of night. When they arrived near the cabin, they saw that young shoemaker.
This man, how well he is dancing. His shoes are just like Mia's. Plus, his bag is full of shoes.
Mia's sisters asked the shoemaker for help. However, when the shoemaker said that she had to wait until the next full moon for the spell to break, Mia got very upset and started tapping her feet non-stop.
There is one more solution, but if we do that, your shoes will lose their magic and become just ordinary shoes. If you agree, hit your feet together 3 times.
Mia thought it was better to give up the shoes than to be invisible. And she hit her feet together 3 times. The shoemaker in the front, Mia in the back, they went to the bottom of the well a little further away. The shoemaker jumped to the bottom of the well. Seeing this, the princess sisters were very surprised. After a while, the shoemaker came out of the well with a full bucket in his hand.
I will sprinkle this full moon dust at your feet and break the spell.
The spell was indeed broken when the shoemaker sprinkled the full moon dust on the magic shoes, and Mia reappeared. Her sisters immediately hugged her.
Mia, you don't need spell or magic to dance gracefully.
Because everyone should dance the way they're happy.
Yes, you are right. Thank you, shoemaker. Thank you so much.
From that day on, little Princess Mia danced in her own way as she always wanted to.
Once upon a time, in a faraway land lived a prince. It was now time for the prince to wed, but unfortunately, his princess was nowhere to be found. In order to find his princess, he traveled all around the world. All the princesses in the neighboring kingdoms visited the king's castle to meet the prince. But the prince was having a hard time trying to pick the right one. His father, the king, wanted his son to wed a real princess. After trying for so many years, he lost all hope in finding the right princess. Sad, hopeless, and deep in his thoughts, the prince continued to live his life. The king and queen were indeed very sad at this situation. Another sad night, as he sat there thinking, a big storm began. Lightning was striking and the sound of the thunder was echoing in the castle. The prince was having a hard time trying to sleep as he watched the lightning strike from his window. But on the other hand, he couldn't help but think about his future princess. Amongst all the noise in the castle, one of the servants realized that the door was knocking. She opened the door and noticed a shivering young girl that was drenched from the rain. Amongst the state the poor young girl was in, She still looked very beautiful and elegant, and with great difficulty she spoke. "Will you take me in, please? I'm all alone. I got lost in the woods." The servant felt sorry for her, and so she ran and gave the news to the king and queen.
"We cannot refuse to take in a visitor at this hour of the night. Take her in."
The king quickly let the guards know of the situation and ordered them. The guards took the girl in the castle's living room and sat her in front of the fireplace. Seeing the girl's clothes drenched in water, the queen ordered the servants so that they bring some appropriate clothing for the girl. All alone with the girl, the queen asked, "At this hour and in this weather, may I ask what it is that you're looking for?" "I'm a princess from a faraway land. My castle has been attacked by my enemies. In order to protect me, Mother and Father secretly sent me away with 2 soldiers, but once it was midnight, due to the storm, we lost each other, and here I am. I found your castle. Thank you so much for taking me in." The queen found it hard to believe, but even so found it harder to send her away from the castle. The prince was curious to see who this mysterious girl was. He wanted to meet her. At that point, the girl was wearing the dress the queen had given her. Her hair had dried, and she was feeling more like herself now. Now that she looked much more elegant and beautiful, as the prince entered the room, he couldn't believe the beauty and elegance and was mesmerized by her presence. But still, he wanted to know for sure that she was indeed a princess. The queen told the prince that she was going to handle the situation and find out if she was a real princess. "Is she a real princess? We will find out tonight." The prince and princess chatted away the whole night. The prince, as fond as he was of this girl, he was trying to get to know her better. The queen got the guest's room ready for the young girl, and she placed a pea under her bed and covered it with 7 mattresses. The young girl slept in this strange bed that was prepared for her that night. The following morning, the queen waited for the young girl to wake up, and when she did, she asked her, "Did you sleep well last night?" "I'm very fortunate that you gave me shelter, but I had great difficulty trying to sleep." "Oh, really? I wonder why. May I ask why?" "My body is in pain. My back aches. It was as if the whole night I had slept on something really hard." This is the exact answer the queen was looking for. She knew that only a princess could feel such discomfort coming through a bed covered in 7 layers of mattresses. She went next to the prince and explained all that happened. Hearing all of this, and finally knowing that she was a real princess, the prince couldn't hide his happiness. He told the king that he would like to wed the princess, and so the king accepted his son's offer to marry the princess. The prince asked that the princess stay in his castle for a few more days until the war was over in her kingdom. In fact, he sent out his own troops to help save her country. And soon later, the prince proposed to the princess.
"Will you marry me, my princess?"
And as soon as he got his answer, they lived happily ever after.
Once upon a time, there was a rich man. This man had 3 young daughters. 2 of his daughters were very arrogant and sassy, and the other one was very kind and hardworking. This kind girl's name was Beauty. One day, the rich man got the news that his ships were lost in the storm. He told his daughters that because of this, they could no longer be rich. Beauty was very sad about her father's situation and consoled him. The other two sisters complained about the situation all day. One morning, their father received the news that one of their missing ships had arrived in port.
My daughters, if my ship is still intact, I will bring you presents on the way home. Tell me, what do you want me to bring?
A diamond ring, a ruby stone, a gold bracelet.
And what about you, Beauty?
Just bring me a rose, Daddy. When the father arrived at the port after a long journey, he saw the wrecked state of his ship and was very sad. On his way home, he passed through a dark and cold forest. Lightning flashed in the sky. The trees almost fell from the speed of the wind. The man was so cold and frightened that he wanted some rest. But just then, he noticed a magnificent castle. The man entered the castle.
Hey, is there anyone here?
There was nobody around. Despite this, it was quite bright and warm inside. Moreover, the top of the dining table was filled with delicious food. When the poor man saw the food, he could not resist it and ate them all. While walking around the castle, he saw an empty bedroom and went inside and had a comfortable sleep. When he woke up the next morning, he found new clothes next to him.
This castle must belong to a kind fairy. I wish I could thank him.
When the man was about to leave the castle, he noticed roses in the garden.
I couldn't buy expensive gifts for my daughter, but at least I could take this rose for Beauty.
The man plucked one of the roses. At that moment, a very strong roar was heard. A terrible monster appeared from behind the trees. The man was so scared.
I fed you. I made you sleep comfortably. And you are plucking my roses. Is this how you think? Forgive me, sir. I just wanted to take a rose for my daughter. There is a punishment for what you did. You have to bring me the first person you meet on your way home, or I'll catch you and imprison you for a lifetime.
The man left sadly. Father, who couldn't see anyone along the way, saw that only Beauty was waiting for him when he got home, and their eyes met. So he regretfully told her what happened to him and the beast's will. Hearing this, the other sisters got very angry with Beauty.
If you hadn't asked our father for roses, this never would have happened to us. What if my eyes would meet my father's? What would happen then? I was going to surrender to a beast? Oh no!
I'm so sorry, Daddy. I will do whatever it takes to keep you away from being imprisoned. The man took Beauty with him and went to the beast's castle as he promised. They enter the dining room. Just then, a roar was heard again, and the beast came into the hall. Beauty was scared, but the ugly beast spoke very kindly to her.
Your father will be leaving my castle in a little while. And you? Will you continue to stay here voluntarily?
Yes, I will stay here voluntarily. Beauty hugged her father and sent him home. Then she started walking inside the castle and saw a door decorated with roses. Curiously, she entered. A piano on one side, a swing on the other, a huge bookshelf and thousands of books. The room was just like in her dreams. She saw a small note on the table.
My dear Queen, I want to see you happy always. Your wishes are commands for me.
Beauty thought she wanted to see her father one more time. Then she went down to the hall for dinner. After a while, the ugly beast came into the hall.
My queen, may I accompany you to dinner?
You are the owner of this castle. Why are you asking me?
No, no. You are the owner of this place, Beauty. If you want, I'll go right away. I'm sure you find me very ugly anyway, don't you?
Beauty was very surprised at the beast's reply and did not know what to say.
I wish we got married and lived a happy life together.
No, I don't want to marry you.
The beast then left the hall. However, at every dinner, he prepared wonderful meals for Beauty and was very kind to her. As the days passed, Beauty realized that she was getting used to the ugly beast and was having a good time with him. Moreover, she was no longer afraid of the beast. One day, Beauty told the beast that she wanted to go to her father because she missed him so much.
Of course you can go, but promise me you'll be back.
I promise I will be back in 3 days.
Then put this ring on your finger. As soon as you take off the ring, you will find yourself in this castle again.
Beauty put on the ring and went to visit her father. Her father was very happy to see Beauty, but her sisters were very jealous of her.
Your ring is so ugly, and it doesn't look good on you at all.
3 days passed quickly. Beauty stayed there for the 4th day as she had so much fun with her father. However, she had a terrible nightmare in her sleep that night. In her nightmare, the beast was standing in the garden, sad and weary. As soon as she woke up, realizing that she missed him, Beauty immediately took the ring off her finger. Thus, she suddenly found herself in her room in the castle. She rushed down to the garden. The beast was indeed lying in the garden, exhausted with sadness, as she had seen in her nightmare. She came close to him and hugged him.
Wake up, beast, wake up! If something happens to you, I will never forgive myself.
The beast opened his eyes for a moment.
Beauty, I thought you wouldn't be back anymore. I became sick with sadness and became weak.
I realized I missed you while I was away, and I came to you voluntarily because I love you. I want to live a happy life in this castle with you.
At that moment, everywhere was covered with shimmering lights. She was looking around and was astonished at what was happening. When she turned her face to the beast again, she saw that there was a handsome prince in his place.
Huh? Oh, who are you? Where is the beast?
The beast is me, Beauty. I was under the influence of an evil spell. If you hadn't told me you loved me, I would have remained an ugly beast for the rest of my life.
Beauty has added happiness to her happiness, thanks to her good heart and true love. After that day, the handsome prince and Beauty lived happily ever after in the bright castle.
Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a very cute girl named Karen. She lived in a tiny house with her mother and was a very happy girl. She would ask her mother about everything she was curious about.
Mom, what are these tiny lights in the sky?
They are stars, Karen. Everyone who lives on Earth eventually turns into a star and shines in the sky forever. Karen only had one toy, one dress, and a pair of wooden slippers she wore on the street. The wooden slippers her mother made for her were not very comfortable, but they were the only ones she had. One day, Karen's mother got very sick. So Karen went to town to buy medicine for her mother, and along the way, she found a pair of red shoes in a box on the roadside. The shoes shone so beautifully that Karen couldn't help but bring them home with her.
Look, Mommy, I found these by the roadside. Aren't they beautiful? Just right for me.
These may belong to someone else, Karen. You should immediately take them back.
But if they had an owner, she wouldn't have left them there with the box.
Maybe the owner dropped it accidentally.
Then they shouldn't have dropped it. I found them. They belong to me now. They're mine.
Baby, listen to me carefully. I may not be able to buy you new shoes right now, but I don't want you to wear someone else's shoes just because of that. Please, don't be stubborn. Promise you won't wear these red shoes. Karen sadly promised her mother not to wear red shoes and hid them under her bed. Months passed by until one day Karen came home and couldn't find her mother in the house. She looked all over until she realized that her mother had become a bright star. The next day, on her way to her mother's funeral, Karen put on those red shoes. Those who came to the funeral couldn't take their eyes off Karen's shoes.
How dare she wear red shoes? So disrespectful.
But Karen did not care because she loved her shoes. A good-hearted old woman passed by the cemetery. This old woman learned that this little girl was now an orphan and wanted to adopt her.
Come with me, pretty girl. I will do my best to make you successful and beautiful when you grow up.
So Karen went to live with the old woman for many years.
Karen, you've been wearing these shoes since your mother's funeral. You need to take them off now. They're so dirty. No, I love my red shoes. Oh, Karen, don't be so stubborn. Come on, change your shoes. I'll buy better shoes, I promise.
Karen did not want to offend the old woman who had been so kind to adopt her. So she finally took off her red shoes and threw them away. Days passed until one day, Karen was playing in her new room with her new clothes and toys, and the old woman brought her a new pair of shoes. But Karen didn't like these shoes at all.
But these are blue. Very ugly. I don't like them at all.
So for years to come, Karen missed her red shoes a lot. She grew into a beautiful young lady, but her stubborn attitude never changed. Even when the old lady brought her gifts.
I don't want to wear this thing, but I knit this for you.
I'll never eat this food.
Make me French fries. At least take a little bite, darling.
The old woman was very upset when Karen got up from the table without having a meal. She made French fries for her and took them to her room. At that time, Karen was taking off her blue shoes.
Look, see? All my things are so small now. I've grown up. Well, come on then. Let's buy you new clothes and shoes.
Then the old woman and Karen went to the store.
Oh,
Look, just like my favorite red shoes. I must have them. Let's get these.
Karen, you don't need fancy red shoes. You need shoes that you can wear respectfully. Like, if we need to go to a funeral. I can only buy you one pair of shoes. Let's buy those black ones and go home. I am very tired.
I don't care. If you don't buy both shoes, I'll walk barefoot everywhere from now on.
Little girl, I wish you weren't so stubborn.
The old woman bought the black shoes for Karen and spent the last of her money to appease her with the red sparkly shoes, too. They had to walk home on foot. The old woman's feet hurt a lot along the way, and she could not keep up with the spoiled Karen. And Karen didn't care. She walked on home with her new red shoes. One day, the old woman told Karen that they needed to attend a funeral in town.
Karen, be sure to put on your black shoes. Otherwise, it will be disrespectful at the funeral.
Karen looked at the black shoes in her room, and then at the bright red ones. She chose to put on the red shoes. When they left the house, she covered them up with her skirt, so the old woman would not see the shoes. However, at the funeral, everyone saw Karen's shoes, shining brightly under her skirt. They spoke amongst themselves about Karen's red shoes at the funeral and about how disrespectful the shoes were. When what was said came to the old woman's ear, she got very angry.
You didn't listen to what I told you, and you put on the red shoes again. You're so stubborn, Karen. Show some respect.
A handsome young lord passing by at that time was struck by Karen's beauty. He came to her and went down on his knees and gave her compliments.
How beautiful you are, and so delicate in these beautiful shoes.
My lord, you make me blush.
You must be a very good dancer. I invite you to the dance night in the palace tonight. Please come.
With the happiness of the Lord's offer, Karen started dancing with joy. But after a while, Karen couldn't stop dancing. Why can't I stop my feet? What is happening? Oh! Karen started walking away from the old lady and the Lord while she was dancing.
Karen, come back.
Even though the Lord chased Karen for a while, he lost her. Karen's red shoes turned out to be more stubborn than Karen. They took her until top of the mountain and made her dance day and night for 3 days. Karen's feet hurt so much that she screamed at every step. Even though they got into the mud and prickly needles stuck, the shoes kept dancing. Enough! I'm very tired. I won't be so stubborn from now on. I promise. Please stop. Shoes, please stop. Stop. And when Karen said she'd give up all her stubbornness, the red shoes jumped off her feet, and Karen, too, fell to the ground. And the red shoes kept on dancing without her. Karen found a stick and managed to limp home in pain. Her legs hurt a lot. She started to cry with happiness when she saw her house. The old woman greeted her at the door. They hugged each other. I know I was very stubborn, girl, but I promise I won't be like that anymore. After Karen gave up her stubbornness, things started to get better. One day, someone knocked on the door. It was the young and handsome Lord.
Well, there you are, Karen. I tried to keep up, but you danced so fast. How did you do that?
Karen was glad to see the handsome and young lord. That was the day the Lord and Karen's love began, leaving stubbornness behind. Karen lived a happy and peaceful life.